Good afternoon, folks, or good evening, wherever you're at. My name is Francis Collado, and welcome to day 30 of the Los Angeles Asian Pacific Film Festival presented by Visual Communications. I'm coming from you from our home in Long Beach and in LA County. We acknowledge the Tongva Kish Chumash peoples, the stewards of this land before we came to live. On behalf of Asia's board, we continue celebrating you and our communities, contributors of 50 years of families, NBC members, and individual donors. Thank you to Comcast, NBC Universal, Nielsen, SAG-AFTRA producers, IACF, Warner Media, and HBO. Also, thank you to National Endowment for the Arts, California Arts Council, LA County Department of Arts and Culture, and the City of Los Angeles Department of Cultural Affairs. Also, a big shout out to our friends and businesses who support the festival, Cafe Dulce, the park's finest, Far Bar, Town Coffee. If you're in the area, please go out and support them. And we'd also like to recognize all our dozens of community partners who empower our communities through your allyship. Lastly, I'd like to thank our VC staff for your passion to create our ideal communities during this time. I know this is a change up for everybody. I'm looking forward to the day we can celebrate each other in person. Folks, I'd like to bring on our moderator and host for this panel. For our next C3 Converse presented by Nielsen, please welcome Joel Kizon. Joel Kizon is a Los Angeles-based Manila roots filmmaker, arts organizer, music curator, and DJ. My favorite part is a amazing father and what I look up to. So thank you. He's a filmmaker for Form Follows Function, a media collaborative specializing in place-based short-form documentaries, emergent media, and multimedia installations. Currently, he is also the program manager for the National History Museum, Los Angeles County, as well as our media instructor for our Digital Histories program, which teaches seniors and older adults to be filmmakers. And really, thank you, Joel, for your work in that space, and really a message that it's not too late to ever become a filmmaker. And also, you're a saint because you have the patience enough to work with 60-year-olds up to our oldest, who is Fran Ito, who is 88 years old, right? So Joel, thank you for joining us today. Take it away.
Thanks so much, Francis. Really appreciate it. Hello, everyone. My name is Joel Kizon. I'm a senior programmer here at the Film Festival, and I'm zooming in from Los Angeles, the land of the Chumash, Tongva, and Kitch people. And just a couple of things before we get started. If you would like to read the closed captions, we are dropping a link on the chat. Click on that and it'll bring you to the new window that will open with the audio transcripts. And we'd like to thank everyone for making this festival possible, especially the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, Sony Pictures Entertainment, Comcast, NBC Universal, California Arts Council, SAG-AFTRA Producers Industry Advancement and Cooperative Fund, the National Endowment of the Arts, and HBO and Warner Media. And special thanks to all the community partner organizations for their valuable work and for continuing to support visual communications. So let's get started. We'd like to invite our filmmakers to turn on the cameras so we can see the entire group. Hello, you can all unmute too as well. So I'm just gonna, Nate, call you out, and if you can just tell us your name, the name of your film, and tell us a little bit about yourself. So if we can start with Aaron.
Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me okay. I'm in my car, but my name is Erin Lee. I'm super excited to have my short dance film as part of this program. It's called The Beginning and the End of Everything. It's the longest title I've ever had for a movie. And a little bit about myself. I was an Armed with a Camera fellow with VC a while back, and so was my editor, Susumu Kimura, who's actually on the call. He just texted me. He was also Armed with a Camera fellow too, so excited to be back with the family.
And next we'll go to Isabella.
Hi, I'm Isabella Smiley. My film was Kid Sister, and it was about how my little sister uses her love of entertaining to cope with their fairly recent loss of our grandmother by putting on a tribute show for her. And I'm a senior in high school, and I really like screenwriting in my spare time.
Thank you. Sammy.
Peace, everyone. My name is Sam May. I'm actually here on Ramaytush Ohlone territory, unceded land in the Bay in San Francisco, Hunters Point. But I'm actually originally from Carson, LA County, so it's really exciting to get to be here with you all. I'm the filmmaker, artist, and holder of Blood, which is actually my second music video and was filmed in Soma, Pilipinas, our cultural heritage district in the south of Market of San Francisco. And it really seeks to uplift our journey of decolonization and re-indigenization and reclaiming our inherent ancestral gifts as Filipinx folks in the diaspora.
Thank you, Same. So I wanted to thank you for introducing, thank you for coming to be here and be part of this conversation. I was really happy and honored to have programmed this program, and mainly I was just really inspired by music and movement, hence it's called Movements, but it's part of our Cinema Musica series of usual events and screenings during the film festival. So I'm gonna talk individually about the individual films. So I'm gonna start with Aaron's film, The Beginning and End of Everything. So Aaron, tell us a little bit more about maybe the background on it. And I think it was also set to premiere as part of a full-length feature film at South by Southwest.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, what a wild year. I had my tickets all set for South by and everything, my hotel booked, but it's all good. Yeah, it came to me in a really interesting way. So there was a director, Boaz Yakin. He's directed a bunch of feature films, and trying to remember, like he directed this feature with Denzel Washington. It was about football. I don't remember. Remember the Titans. But he also does a lot of independent features, and he was directing a dance film about a relationship, and it was a feature film told through dance, completely through dance. And it was really interesting, and he approached me because he wanted to hire a director to direct a dance film within the feature film. And it was very meta because the film is about this relationship between a filmmaker and their significant other, and he wanted someone to direct the film that the filmmaker screens in the feature. So it was a really cool experience, and he kind of let me go in terms of creative ideas and things like that. And I got to work with dancers and a choreographer for the first time. Carissa Krager was the choreographer, and she's worked on a lot of, big TV film projects with Ryan Heffington. And she worked on the OA with Ryan, and also Euphoria most recently, Transparent. So it was really cool to work with her and all these amazing dancers and kind of bring this to life.
Thank you. Now, your film, so it is based. What's the name of the feature film again? It's
the feature film is called Aviva.
Aviva.
And it's really neat. Another really cool concept in the film is that each character, it's about a couple, and each character is represented by a male dancer and a female dancer. So in some scenes, you might see the male representation of the character interact with, the female representation of the other character, or just, it was a really cool conceptual project to be a part of.
Have you done other dance films or music related films in the past, or is that something you gravitate towards?
Yeah, this was actually my first project with dance. which was super exciting. And I learned a lot about how to work with a choreographer and dancers. I've worked with music before. I direct music videos also. So there were some elements of dance, but this was like a story told through dance, which is really different. And for my film, it's about really the beginning through end of a relationship. Yeah.
And since you did it as part of another film, like, did you have, how did you approach the visual style of it? Was that something you had to adhere to in a way to be, you know, be part of another feature-length film?
Yeah, actually, no. So that was why the director wanted to hire someone else. He wanted a completely different kind of interpretation and style. So he kind of just let me do whatever I wanted. I basically wrote a script based on the idea that he had. And he basically told me, you know, he wanted a dance film that portrays the risks that people take to be in a relationship together, and the risks that they take together after they're already in the relationship. So I kind of expanded upon it and made it like a full-length story and wrote a script and sent it to him, and he was like, it looks great. So yeah, he was really supportive throughout the whole process. When I mentioned like I pictured like a tree flying in the sky with the dancers.
Say,
he was like, sure, go ahead.
It was great. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Erin. I just noticed that we
thanks,
had,
Joel.
we'll come back to you in a sec. I noticed June Bay, who directed Turf Nation, just joined us. Hi, June.
How are you doing?
Yeah, if you don't mind just introducing yourself, talk and tell a little bit about yourself and your film.
Sure thing. My name is June. Nice to meet you all. I directed Turf Nation, which was shot in the Bay Area that follows the street dancers in the BART trains. And I've been following them for a couple of years, and then the film basically follows them in the trains, as well as some music video scenes, and then as well as some dance scenes that they do on San Francisco.
How did you get involved with this project? Was this your concept, or is this part of something?
Yeah, so this was my thesis film for when I was at the Stanford's documentary program, and I found out about them when I first moved to the Bay Area. You know, I just was, you know, I'm a dancer myself, so I've known the dancers in the West Coast. And one time, I just got invited to one of the dance battles that they were having in West Oakland Station. It was right across from West Oakland Station. They had a battle, an indoor battle that they had from this organization called Turf Inc., which is a company that promotes street dancers on, you know, bigger platforms for, you know, different commercials and stages and things like that. So I went to the event and you know, met the dancers there, and then I was taking some photographs and some videos of them dancing. And then when I sent those to them on Instagram, they basically invited me to their BART show. I think literally this was the following day after the event. So after the day after the first event, I went to follow them on the BART trains for the first time. And then they also perform on First Fridays in Oakland. So I was there also, and then I knew after that first day, you know, there was a film to be made, and I started just kind of following them and started making a lot of dance videos with them, since you know, that's something that I've been doing before I even moved to the West Coast. So it was something that I wanted to pursue and really tell the stories of the dancers' lifestyles.
So you're saying that you were a dancer too. I was going to ask that because it seemed like you were, in terms of like your relationship to the subject matter. It seems really connected. So is that something you want to do? Like maybe make feature-length film, dance films, musicals? Is that something you thought
right
about?
now, actually right now, I have a lot of footage of one of the characters in the film. If you remember, there's one of the dancers, his name is Frenchie Baby, and he comes out
America's
in the
Next Talent or Greatest.
Right, America's Got Talent. In the film, he was actually, I used the footage from when he was in Romania's Got Talent. But after that, you know, literally until like last month, he was on the show of America's Got Talent this season. And so I follow him a lot, and I basically, have a lot of footage before the show, even during the show and after the show. So right now I'm kind of, trying to figure out if I can make a feature or if I can make maybe like a mid-size film just about him.
And then you said your film took about 2 years to film.
So I started, my first filming was in 2018 in the summer. That was when I first met them. And then I finished the film around the spring of 2019. So I would say it took, I think the filming, it was mostly, there's so much dance videos that I just couldn't, fit in the film. But, I just have all of those dance videos with them that's on, YouTube and other platforms as well. So it was really just nice to work with them consistently in a way that, I can develop more of a relationship with them more than the dance and just kind of follow their lifestyle as well.
Great. Thanks, June. We'll get back to you, and now we're going to go and talk about Kid's Sister, directed by Isabella Smiley. Isabella, you told us a little bit about the film, but it's about your sister. Now, was that your inspiration to do that, or did you both come up with it, or was that something she agreed to right away? Tell us like the background on like why you decided this is going to be your film.
Well, it started from the PAC Arts program, which is called Real Voices, where we had to create a short documentary during the summer, and we had to like bounce around ideas of what you really wanted your film to be about, and everyone was doing something like that impacted them either or that they saw in the community that they wanted to talk about. And the only thing that was like on my mind at the time was my Lola, because she had just passed. So I figured like that's what it has to be about. There wasn't really much of a choice, and I chose to make my little sister part of it because I saw their similarities all the time, and it was like really dawning on me. And I recognized that she was like also growing up. So I wanted to make it like a love letter to like my two favorite people in the world.
Now, I mean, did she had to take some convincing to be really like the main focal point of it as well, in terms of like she was performing, she's dancing, she's doing was that something that she agreed to right away?
No, it took a little bit of convincing because like I think I touch on in the film, she says like hurry up before I lose my confidence, and I was trying to like capture that where she's really becoming like self-conscious about how she is, and she's losing this like this childish all of her childish tendencies to be like super loud, which is all of the traits that I recognized that she shared with my Lola, and I didn't want her to lose that.
So why do you think it's important for you, like this film, to make a film about your family, or is it just something that was just natural to you? Or is it, you think there's something you'd want to continue doing more personal films?
Well, my family, specifically my sisters, everything like kind of, we're very, we like to experiment with film specifically and just like acting in general and doing random table reads just for us. So it seemed kind of natural to make it about my sister. And I'd probably continue that in the future as well.
Cool. And then tell us, I mean, there's like the music element, which is really the performance, but it's also tell us a little bit about your Lola Sam, and who's a famous singer in the Philippines, and how did you decide to bring her music into the film itself?
I always associated my Lola Sam's music with her entire like Alfonso family, which correlated to my Lola passing, and her sound was the soundtrack of my childhood, and it felt like it represented like a loss of innocence, like all the things that I attached to my childhood, like being gone all of a sudden. So that's why I wanted to include it in her. And she also sounds like they share a very similar voice.
Is that why you kind of like had her singing over the track and over her voice as well, so you can hear both of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you, and we'll get back to you as well. I want to now talk about Blood, film by Sammy, also directed by Adonis Emery and Gorilla Davis, who are not able to join us, but Sammy's here, so we're really happy to be here. So tell us a little bit about the film. Like, if you haven't seen it, what is it about?
Yeah, totally. And I want to big shout out to Adonis and Gorilla. And it's actually Gorilla's birthday today. So shout out.
Shout out.
Um, so the journey of Blood really follows a young brown girl who I'm the one who plays the young brown girl. And in her journey of reawakening, of reawakening to her ancestral gifts, and really honors the story of the Balyana, or in the more popular term is Babaylan. And in our pre-colonial traditions and beliefs, we understand the Babaylan or Balyana to be the seer, to be the priestess, the healer of the community. And this is a tradition, you know, that lives on today, that many of us in the diaspora like really feel akin to in so many ways as we decolonize, as we really learn what it means to return to our essence as folks who were colonized by the Spanish. And it really traverses like this, I would say this communal ceremony, right? Like what happens when you are seen in your fullness, and when there are people and mentors and folks who can teach you these things when they're like literally right there and accessible to you. And so location wise, we go from Bindosif Studio, Epicenter for Filipine Performing Arts. I just have to shout them out because they really were such a pivotal, played a pivotal role in the production. And then we journey out of the darkness into the light, into Soma Pilipinas, and then all the way to Land's End in San Francisco. And I want to really lift up that place because it used to be a village of the Yalamu, of the Ramaytush Ohlone. And why it was so important to be there was because, you know, the ocean for us is so symbolic, and we really believe that the ocean connects us back to our ancestral land of the Pinas. So to like go all the way from our cultural heritage district to the ocean and be welcomed in that way, in that returning, yeah, it was really magical.
So did this song come first, or did your concept of this film come first?
I knew you were gonna ask that. I was just like, I'm ready. So I've been making music, and I'm actually I'm, you know, childhood like sang, but professionally I'm a choreographer, and most of my work is in dance. But I've been, you know, like doing music lately, and I heard the beat, and it was so interesting because I think it was the beat, and then it was like as I was writing it, you know, like it was like this in tandem transmission of like lyrics and like visuals, like, oh, I know exactly like what this song is for, who it's for, and like why it's happening. So in some ways I tell people that the video came first, that the film came first before the song. Yeah.
Thank you. You know, we have a little bit of time, and I know there are folks from everyone's film that is on here. So if we can have them join us, whoever's here, and then maybe they can introduce. Is there anyone, Aaron? You're there?
Yeah, Susuma Kimura, the editor, I think he's on the call.
Okay. How about you,
we're on the
June? Are
Zoom
you
call.
alone? Okay. Isabella. And Sammy, you said maybe the cinematographers in the room as well?
You know, I saw Irina, who was our BTS photographer, but I don't see her anymore.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Well, whoever joins us, we'll see. But I'm going to ask a few more questions in terms of like, we'll go back to Aaron. And so tell us a little bit about what you're doing now, or what we should be looking out for,
Sure.
and the future also of your film as well.
I think like because the pandemic happened, I feel like we weren't sure what was going to happen, and even with South by, it was like everything was up in the air, and I think South by was the first big event that was canceled. So I think we just decided to release it online, so that way like people can just watch it online. And so I'm not really sure where. I think if the pandemic hadn't happened, we might have maybe submitted to some more festivals, but I think we just submitted it to a few places, and it's living online basically. And in terms of like projects, I'm actually really excited about a feature I'm writing with a writing team who are also actors, and they're also a couple, so they're in a pod. So we're gonna film it next year, with or without COVID, obviously in a safe way, but it's gonna be, like super DIY, and I'm super excited about the story. It's sci-fi kind of, I love sci-fi and genre, so it's gonna be lo-fi sci-fi. It's a love story and thriller also. And yeah, busy working on that. I just shot something, a recruiting film for UCLA, actually, that was super fun. It was great being back on set. It was mostly outside with like less than 10 crew members. Yeah, and it went really smoothly. So it can be done, I think, maybe more easily for lower, like smaller crews and smaller projects. So that was really fun. And I felt like more myself again after being on set.
I was thinking like these kind of like guerrilla filmmakers that just shoot with one or two people. I mean, this is the time to do it.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah. Where, before we move on, so tell me, where did you get your idea for the flying tree?
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, the whole story, like behind the film, is really about like love and the risks that you take to be in a relationship. And I guess I wanted something to represent how, you grow as a person individually, but you also grow together. And the tree kind of represents how these two individuals like fused into another kind of entity, and how they grew. And it's also a symbol of a relationship's, the death of a relationship too. And I wanted to kind of convey that symbolically. Yeah. Yeah.
It was like when I first saw it, I was like, whoa, and there is that just happened. But it was great. Thank you, Erin. So June, what are you working on? Is there any new projects we should be on the lookout for? And then what is the future of Turf Nation? Your film, Turf Nation. Oh, you're on mute. Oh, yeah, you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so Turf Nation, will always be Turf Nation. The members of the that I follow, they're called the Turf Fiends, but Turf Nation is a little bit more of a bigger umbrella term that basically combines all the turf dancers in the Bay Area. And so it's a whole movement, and it has been going since before, for a long time, and it will just continue to go on. The members of the Turf Fiends right now, they have a new members. They're called the Junior Turf Fiends, and they're a bunch of basically kids that are the next generation of turf dancers that are showing on bar trains and different stages and things like that. And as far as my new project goes, like I said, I'm working on that right now, post-production on the Frenchie Babies documentary. And I actually have a couple of music videos that I did for him as well, since he's also an artist. So he is transitioning, now to becoming more of an artist from a dancer. And, he's been collaborating with other artists in LA. and he dropped his first album recently. And I'm sure the film that I'll be making will touch, a little bit of that, of how, a street dancer transitions to being an artist. And I see a lot of that happening right now. And, I think there's so many reasons, but one of the main reasons is because there's so much more money involved in producing music than, basically making a living as a dancer. And so I'm sure I'll be touching on those topics, and just what it takes to be a dancer today. And, like I said, I have a couple of music videos that that's already up, and he'll be releasing that soon on his YouTube channel as well. So those are the things that I'm working on right now.
Would we ever see you dancing on the other side of the camera?
You know what? There was a music video called Sticky, and Frenchie Baby and I are both in the music video, so you can check it out on YouTube if you just type Sticky. The artist is Shada, and featuring Milla, they're both Bay Area artists from the Bay. Cool. And so it just came out maybe like a week ago, so you can check me out on that as well.
Thanks, June. Isabella, you said you're interested in screenwriting. Are you writing right now? Are you thinking about your next project, or have you started your next project?
I'm probably going to stay away from filmmaking for a while, especially because of the pandemic, but I'm currently writing like 5 different projects that I alternate between. And me and my little sister, the one in the documentary, are currently writing a musical together just for fun.
Great.
So it's exciting.
Great. Do you write music as well?
No, but we're working on it.
Do you have like, you want to make, but eventually you want to make films, or is there any kind of, what are your influences right now? What kind of films do you like?
I was interested in like whimsical stuff for a while, and like kind of this happy, sad genre that Taika Waititi did in his early work. So that's kind of the tone that I'm aiming towards.
Good aim. Thank you. Now, Sammy, tell us about what you're working on and any new projects, and what are you going to do with Blood? Is Blood being shown anywhere else as well?
So this is the world premiere for Blood, and because honestly, Joel, I'm like, because you believe in us, like, yeah, we'll definitely submit to other film festivals. It's really new, like the festival circuit in film is super, super new for me. I actually just directed my first dance film this past week, so I'm kind of like in that like come down from all of that. But yeah, it's that, it's all, I've been really thinking about as a live performer, as someone who really like works with the ethereal and ephemeral. I've just been really thinking about how putting my work on film like really creates that sense of access and accessibility for future generations. And I'm moving towards that. I think I'll never leave like live performance, but I'm really looking for a balance of the both mediums. And yeah, that project's called Hinga, and I think we're gonna screen it in December. That seems super soon, but yeah, some more to come for sure.
Great. Well, I think we're gonna bring in Susumu in the room. Here we go. Just about. Let's see. Oh.
So yeah, Susumu's been like editing all my films since we met at Film Independent, Project Involve. And he's like an amazing person, storyteller. And he also did Armed with a Camera too. There you are.
Hi, Susumu.
Hi. Hey guys.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? What are you working on currently?
Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Susumu. I'm editor and I work with in a long time. She's the one who recommended to do AWD, and I did that last year, and So it's been great home for at the visual communication. I'm an editor by trade, so I go from different jobs. I currently just working on shows on Nike, and we're doing a video series on the different sneakers. So I'm doing that. I have another personal project of mine, which is a short film, which I shot right before COVID hit, thank God. And I'm sort of finishing the VFX touch and hopefully to release it. You know, crossing fingers when the vaccine is approved or something, then we can release it. So we're trying to get it to finish right.
Great, thank you, Sumu. And I think we have another filmmaker that worked on Blood, Irina Alejo. If she's on, if we can add her so she can say hi as well. But then I guess maybe the last question that Irina brought up is, do any filmmakers see how the landscape will continue to grow or accessibility during COVID in terms of like your practice as an artist? What do you think? Does anyone have anything to add to that? Or...
I can say, I guess for me, it's just reminded me to just take your fate into your own hands and shoot your own projects, and not, because I think the danger of, working and living in LA, I think you start to get used to like pitching to people a lot. And in that way, you're kind of asking for permission all the time. Whereas I think it's better to take fate into your own hands and just make your own movies, tell your own stories, and do it your way. And I think that's really reminded me to do that. And that's why I'm so excited to work with people I love and on a project that I'm really passionate about. And I'm just gonna do it with or without support or backing. And just, I think that's the way. And then people will follow inevitably, and the money will come somehow. That's what I have to believe. That's what I tell myself.
Yeah, thank you. June, did you have something to add to that?
You know what? That was just really, I think it was a great, I guess like a reminder for me as well. I used to just go out there and shoot all the time. Now I feel like I have to like write get like a treatment together and everything. And I feel like now it's a great time to just do what Erin said. Just go out there and start shooting without permission.
So I think we have Irina Alejo. You want to say hi, Irina? Hi, just tell us a little bit about yourself and your role in Blood.
Thanks, Sammy. It's unexpected. I'm just happy to just ask questions. I'm excited to continue studying everyone's films and seeing everyone's trajectory. I just did behind the scenes photos for Sammy's project, and she also just completed a shoot this past week. I hope to continue supporting her work in that way as a photographer.
Thank you for joining us. And again, I wanted to thank everyone for coming, and thank you for your film. It's something like the Cinema Musica program is really something really close to me, and I was really happy to present all of your works. And thank you for joining us. And again, thank you everyone for in attendance. If you enjoyed this conversation, the festival lineup, please consider donating to Visual Communications. Your support will help sustain our year-round operations and programming. Go to bcmedia.org for more info. So we hope to see you at another conversation. For the most recent updates on the festival, please visit festival.bcmedia.org or follow us on our social media accounts at BC Film Festival. So don't forget to use the hashtag LAAPFF2020. Thank you, filmmakers, for joining. Really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone.
So much.
Thank you. Shout out to
Peace.
Kate Havnovic, this amazing musician, and Jesse Odio, the producer. Thank you, Joel. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joel.
Thanks,